All right, we're here with the other one. This is the, what is it? 12, I don't know. There's a number here. I'll say it in the description or something. Or I'll type it in, whatever. This is the other big Vornado, the 12-inch. A lot like the pedestal that we're currently dealing with in many ways. The motor's a little bit different, the housing there. It's obviously not a pedestal fan, so it's got a bottom, as you know, and this has been repainted by somebody. You actually can see a little remnants of the lines. You can see it right here. So this is the same housing as the other one, I think, and that's why we're going to pull this one apart and start messing with it. This one is a little different grill, obviously. We're going to take a look at the blades. We're going to try and see what it takes to start to get these apart so that we can get the other one apart and rewire it correctly. I made a huge mistake yesterday on the other one. I cut the wire by the motor. I should have just tried to wire nut it together at the base where it had been pulled apart. There was enough play there to pull that through. Ultimately, best practice, really, you got to go through it anyway. But I should, just in the meantime, I should have left that the way it was. But live and learn, right? I didn't really think about it. I just did it. I should have stopped and thought and then redid it. But, you know, sometimes you give yourself a chance to think, you do a little better. But, so there's no telling how much this was really damaged. If you went around and looked carefully and looked for where the lines are gone, fully gone, this was like brush painted. Somebody like brush painted this thing. And some of that paint's coming off. You know how it is. But the first thing we'll do is we'll take the grill off. Let's get to that. Interesting thing about the grill is that it slots into these little screws. I just tapped it to the left and it came out. Very interesting little grill situation. Not too dirty, whatever. Again, this pan's been worked on or something by someone else at some point. So let's see about the blades or whatever's next. All right, so I'm going to try the Allen key I was using yesterday to adjust the stand of that. You'd think they used the same Allen key for all of them, but that doesn't seem to fit. Oh, no, it's in there. Okay. Oh, and that was fairly easy. So our Allen key broke free. That's good news. Now, who knows? Maybe this will just pull off of there. I don't want to break. Here's what I'm worried about. When you pull and it finally pops free, that you hit it on a corner and you got problems, you break your blades. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. The rotor moves in there. Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. So then the question now, that's not coming off of there. We're not going to put a puller on it. This is Bakelite. I don't know if the cap comes off, if that's actually a cap. It looks like it is. Maybe it's, I don't know. You know, why would you have a set screw if it's held on this direction and we're not going to be able to pull this off? So now let's turn it around, take a closer look at what's going on with this, the housing. All right, the first of two roadblocks, or the second of two. The first is the blades don't want to come off, so that's great. We got to be really careful with that. Don't know what we're going to do. And then this cap that's on the end of this, different than the earlier one, but it's what it has. There's 3 screws. 2 of them have come out. This one does not want to come out, so now I'm just trying to tap on this. I'm hoping maybe we can slip this past this, even though it's all painted together. I think the paint is a part of the problem, having painted it all up the way they did. So that's life. And let's see, I want to get this over here. I want to figure out what's behind it. Where the cord comes out. I don't know how we get any of this apart. So we got a lot of work to do here on this guy, and let's do it. So the housing won't come off the back. We're still stuck on the screw over there. Anyway, I'm tapping it with the plastic mallet, and it's just going side to side, really. It's not really coming loose over on this other side yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flat screwdriver and I'm going to tap on the edge here That's the screw that won't come out, as you see. So I'm just going to tap on the outside on that lip and see if I can get it to slide out of there. We'll see. The trick is to not break the blades while you're doing it. So as you can see, I was indeed hitting this pretty hard. This really does want to come over here, except right at this screw that doesn't move. It seems to have moved a little bit. Maybe we'll keep trying. The problem is it's not going to move. That's locked in there. See that? So I need to get that screw out. Maybe it's loose enough now that we've hit it a few times. Let's see. All right, finally got that off of there. Look at this gross mess inside here. Let me find to see if there's even holes on the back of that motor. The wire comes out of the motor here and then gets wire nutted to its cord, which goes through here. And that's what we're looking at. We still need to get I think that there's an Allen key in here. It's hard to see. I got to get a light in there. We'll clean that garbage off, that oily mess. This was the culprit. This guy was, you know, the threads aren't really that bad. It was kind of glued in and very tight. And I kind of botched this a little bit here, as you see. I didn't do much of that. I did the file. I tried filing in the center, but it was already pretty stripped out. So we need a new one of these guys when we go to reassemble all this. It's too bad. It's a pretty small screw. It's going to be a little hard to replace. We'll see if we can find something like that. I don't know anything about threads or sizes, so that won't be easy to replace. But we got the two others that aren't so bad. And this thing is extremely dirty on the back of it. You can see the white. It doesn't look that bad inside, but boy, this was just literally plugged up with that greasy kind of stuff you find on it. Can't wait to get this apart. This is why you got to get these apart. You can see a little remnants of the original paint under there where the cap came off. There is a motor tag on the motor. Redmond. Wow, they're using a Redmond motor. How do you like that? Should have known. People used Redmond. They were good motors. Hey, they're good motors, kid. So this is what I was trying to look at. Is that Allen wrench? There's not good light there. Let's take a closer look. It's impossible for me to show you, but these are Allen keys in here to get the motor out, I reckon. And there's some sort of motor mounts in there. You can see them that I imagine you'd probably have to replace in some fashion. It'll be interesting to see what they look like. Ha 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 ha. And I wonder, you know, how do you get well, Allen keys aren't so bad. If it were a screwdriver, you'd be in trouble. I wonder if once these are loosened, if this slides a little bit, if you get a little leeway out of it. I don't know. And again, everything's all painted together here, so it's one of the problems we're going to keep having, is that the guy just painted everything up. So, you know, they didn't take anything apart. They just painted it. Obviously, it was never cleaned. They just painted it gray. Yeah, good times. All right, strangely, I do believe this is a cap of some kind on the end here. It looks like I'm making a little space there by using an X-Acto knife, or rather I'm using a box cutter, but just to slide in, and maybe we can get very gently, very gentle, very gentle. Try and keep my arms out of your way. What's most important is that we don't break this. It's right there on that blade. Be careful. We're not making much progress. So who knows? Maybe I'm just imagining that that's a cap. But I don't know if should that come off. Jeez, man. It's not. If it's supposed to, it's not doing it. It's not coming off. You can see it. It's proud a little bit. It's a little proud of that surface there. And maybe there's a nut under here and the blades will come off. I don't know. We're going to find out. All right, Vornago lords. How do you get these off? I mean, the set screw's loose. Blades ain't coming off. Don't want to break them. Is this a cap? Does this need to come off? I'm close. Been getting a X-Acto knife in there, but I don't know if this is supposed to come off anyway. How do you get the blades off without breaking them, dude? Let us know. So as you're about to see, I did get the blades off. There's no fastener, C-clip, or nut underneath. There's no cap. Maybe if that cap is on the front of that blade, it's not coming off, and it's not supposed to come off. All you got to do is get the set screw out, and then gently pry the blades from the back. I used a screwdriver. I'll show you in a second. I posted it on the Vornago page on Facebook. That video you just saw, how do you get the blades off? And a couple of guys someone said sometimes there's a double set screw. I didn't see that to be the case on this, but that would be something to watch out for. And then someone said, well, once you get the set screw out, put a little oil in there and just slowly working it back and forth. And obviously being gentle as possible. So oil is a good idea, penetrating oil or whatever. I didn't end up using that. I just put a screwdriver behind the blade hub and very gently pushed, and it moved very slowly, and that worked out good because, you know, you don't want to pry and break anything. So that worked out good. And so there's no other fastener. You don't need to get the cap off the end of that blade. It just pulls off. Good news, everyone! Yeah, that's a Futurama reference. Yeah, the blades came off. This is what I expected them to look like from the back. All plastic. This cap doesn't, I don't know, who knows, if it probably comes off if you pry it and mess it up. But I'm going to leave it because we didn't need to. It was one long set screw. Someone on the forum said, oh, maybe there could be double set screw. No, it was just one set screw. And what I did was I just came behind the blades gently and just pried this way very gently, and they started to move. So they were just kind of gummy on there. I'm going to clean them up and put them aside. We didn't break them. Huzzah. Jeez. So, and we'll, this puts us in a better position to maybe get the motor out of there. But we still, this gives us now, what I'm going to start doing, taking some of this stuff apart and seeing how much of this moves. Can we get the whole thing out of there? What's going to happen? I don't know. Because the motor's wired in. I guess we can leave it if we... All right, I'm babbling. All right, I cleaned up the blades a little bit. They came out pretty good considering they had a lot of crap on them. Not as bad as you see, but again, these are Bakelite, so you have to be super, super careful. There's the pore marks, or the sprue, or whatever they call that when they cast them. Pretty neat. And yeah, it just popped right off of there. So with a little bit of leverage, very gentle leverage from the back of the motor, because once the set screw is free, you're good to go. I was worried that there might be a nut or something, or a fastener on the inside here, but there wasn't. It's just standard fan blade type deal. So once the set screw was clear, as you can see, just a little bit of leverage, because it was just gummy. It just pulled off very slowly. It didn't slide right off, which is okay. We didn't break it. I was very careful. I would prefer, because, you know, the thing is, you know, if you yank on it and then it, boom, let's go, then you're going to hit the blades here and you're going to break your blades. And that's what I was most worried about. Trying to do as little damage as possible while repairing these things, right? That's all you can do. So anyway, so the blades are off. Back cap is off. Next, we'll remove the motor and start cleaning the motor and seeing how much of the housing will come apart for us. And we need to get it wired down to the switch. We haven't looked underneath anything yet, but at least we got the blades off, so that's a start. Thanks for following along. Any advice you have on this fan, these kinds of fans, please let me know. Don't feel hesitate. Because, you know, I make mistakes. We all make mistakes as we go. I'm not a super big time expert on these, and it's pretty complicated the way these are put together. The one thing I keep trying to tell myself is they had to manufacture it. So they put it together at the factory. There's got to be a way to get it apart and put it back together here at the house. And that's how I just keep trying to think about it. But you know, I make mistakes as I go, and I don't always do the right things in the right order. And so I just try to manage that. I just try to do as little harm as you can, right? Do no harm, or as little as possible. So there's the big Vornago, whatever the number is on this one, the 12-inch. And we're practicing. We're trying to see if we can get this thing cleaned up and put back together. Maybe we'll do improvised grommets. If I never hear from the guy about the grommets, we might have to cobble together our own grommets, just like Colin 853 did. We'll see. And that's the deal. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more on this one. I guess we're into it. We're doing it, so we're going to do it. Here we go.